All right, today is Earth Day, observed on the 22nd of April each year. This day highlights the importance of protecting the environment. Take a look at this report to know more.
Climate change is real and the time to act is now. Why, you ask? Well, because there is no planet B. Earth Day is a reminder of how gifted the blue planet is. It is also a call to action towards a healthier planet and a brighter future. The day inspires change and raises awareness about the importance of conservation practices. The theme for this year's Earth Day is Planet versus Plastic. Choking our oceans, plastic waste makes up 80% of all marine pollution. Over 10 million metric tons of plastic end up in the oceans each year. EarthDay.org has urged a 60% reduction in plastic production by the year 2040. The plan includes phasing out of single-use plastic by 2030. It also eyes provisions, innovations and materials that can help build a plastic-free world. A huge focus is pegged around fast fashion. Fast fashion brands are producing twice the amount of clothes today than in the year 2000. While that sounds exciting, believe it or not, 92 million tons of textile waste is produced every year. And if the trend continues, fast fashion waste can soar up to 134 million tons a year by the end of the decade. And the horror does not end here. The apparel industry's global emissions are expected to increase by 50% by 2030 if the world continues to turn away from addressing the problem in hand. Earth Day also prompts us to see ourselves as one with the environment. The origin of the day can be traced back to 1970. The idea followed a massive oil spill in Santa Barbara and California in 1969. When disturbed by the environmental impact of the disaster, Gaylord Nelson, a US senator, and Dennis Hayes, a Harvard student, decided it was high time to start a conversation. Together, they aspired to spark the idea of conservation amongst a larger public. The initiative echoed a roar when over 20 million people across the US took part in protests against environmental pollution. Cut to the year 1990, Earth Day broke through national boundaries and got recognized as a global event.
Now, for more on this, we have with us Chandra Bhushan, who is one of India's foremost public policy experts and the founder of and CEO of International Forum for Environment, Sustainability and Technology. Thank you so much for joining us on WION, sir.
Thank you, Hem.
Sir, I want to begin by asking you, the theme for this year's Earth Day is Planet versus Plastics. What are your views on this and how relevant would you say this is to the current situation?
Well, it's an extremely relevant topic right now because the world is also negotiating a plastic convention. As you know, the United Nations Environment Programme is bringing all the countries together to get a global deal on plastic. How do we reduce plastic pollution? How do we reduce plastic production and consumption? Today plastic is omnipresent. We have it in our blood. In fact, microplastic is now a major health issue. Plastic is a major health issue for marine ecosystem. Marine pollution is increasing because of plastics. We find plastic in our rivers. In fact, one of the studies that I did almost a decade back was to look at microplastics in Ganga, our main river. And we found significant amount of microplastic in Ganga waters at that point of time. So it's an extremely important issue for environment as well as for health.
Right, sir, you've made some very important points there. Now, that being said, it may take years, and as per some estimates, at least 50 years or so to solve the issue of plastics and how, like you said, they're omnipresent at the moment. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we need to make a start. You know, in India, we have banned single-use plastic about 18 or 19 categories of single-use plastic we have banned. Obviously, there are implementation challenges, but we have made that start. We have made a start on putting some sort of responsibility on producers of plastic packaging. We call it as extended producers responsibility or EPR framework. So a start has been made. Now, many countries of the world have not made that start. For example, the plastic regulation in the US itself, where the Earth Day started, is one of the worst, one of the poorest in the world. US, frankly, hasn't got a major program to curtail plastic use or to reduce plastic pollution. Similar is the case with China. And therefore, if you really want to address plastic pollution issue, obviously domestic national agenda is important, but so is a global agenda. And I believe that if the world works together, we should be able to phase out single-use plastic by 2030 and reduce plastic production by 60-70% by 2040, and find out alternatives. Find alternatives which can replace plastic, because we are using plastic precisely because it is cheap and convenient. It's a use and throw. So one on packaging and as well as on textiles.
All right. Actually, sir, thank you for mentioning that, because that's what I was going to come to next. What are some of the policy shifts and sustainable changes on an individual level that you would recommend?
I mean to say the fast fashion started because of us as individuals. We want cheap clothing, which is use and throw clothing. Most of these clothes are made from polymers. They have large plastic content in them. I don't think many people know about it. They believe that these fabrics are natural fabrics. They aren't. They are artificial fabric. And as I said, they are made from petrochemicals. And then once you use it and throw it, they end up in landfill, or we need to burn them. So fast fashion itself is a major issue. Plastic packaging is another issue. There is some work happening on plastic packaging. As I said, in terms of ban on single-use plastic, or for that matter, having extended producer responsibility. Not much is happening on fast fashion. Now, fast fashion is actually individual responsibility. Can we do with good 5 t-shirts instead of bad 50 t-shirts? Right. That's an individual choice that we all need to make. And I believe that as a responsible citizen, we need to reduce the influence of fast fashion on our lives.
All right. Well, Mr. Chandrabhushan, thank you so much for joining us on WION's Climate Tracker with your insights on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Major rivers, waterways, reservoirs in China's Guangdong province are threatening to unleash dangerous floods. 11 people have been declared missing. It's forcing the government to enact emergency response plans to protect more than 127 million people. Local weather officials have called the situation grim. They said that the sections of rivers and tributaries at the Xinjiang and Bijiang river basins are hitting water levels in a rare spike. China's Water Resource Ministry issued, in fact, an emergency advisory as well. A bridge collapsed and flood hit Guangdong after powerful storms. Guangdong officials urged departments in all of the localities and municipalities to begin emergency planning to avert natural disasters. They're acting on promptly dispersing disaster relief funds and material to ensure affected people have food, clothing, water and a place to stay. The province, a major exporter, one of China's main commercial and trading centers, it's seen major downpours and strong winds for several days. In a weather pattern which has also affected other parts of China, a 12-hour spell of heavy rain starting from 8 p.m. local time on Saturday battered the central and northern parts of province, including the cities of Jiaquin, Xiaguan, Xinjiang and Jinmen, where rescue workers have been dispatched. More than 45,000 people have been evacuated, and damage to power facilities in Jiaquin has cut power to some places. Overall, the Guangdong province in 1.1 1.16 million households were without power supply due to heavy rain. About 1,103 schools in Jiaxing and Shuaguan and Xinguan provinces will suspend classes as well. Authorities in Xinguan and Shaoguan also suspended ships from travelling through several rivers, and maritime departments dispatched forces to be on duty and coordinate emergency tugboats as well as rescue vessels.
随后，受伤人员被送往韶关市粤北人民医院进行治疗。
All right, let's shift our focus to India now. The Indian Met Department has issued a heat wave warning for multiple states as temperatures continue to rise in eastern India. The Weather Department had recorded a temperature rise of 4 to 6 degrees Celsius above normal in northern, southern and eastern states over the last week. Meanwhile, the Weather Department said that the temperature in Delhi is expected to be above 38 degrees Celsius this week. Delhi NCR temperature is also likely to rise by 1 to 2 degrees after a couple of days. The temperature in eastern India can reach 44 degrees Celsius this week. Intense heatwave conditions have gripped parts of the country, with maximum temperatures breaching the 40-degree mark. They'll be breaching that mark in states including West Bengal, Odisha and Jharkhand. No relief, in fact, expected in these states at least till the 24th of April. Elsewhere across the country, hot and humid weather conditions are expected in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Karaikal, Kerala and Mahe till the 24th of April. The threshold for a heat wave is met when the maximum temperature of a weather station it reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius in the plains, 37 degrees in the coastal areas, 30 degrees Celsius in hilly regions, and the departure from normal is at least 4.5 notches. A severe heat wave is declared at the department, and if the departure from the normal temperature exceeds 6.4. Moving on, after 2 days of record storm brought Dubai to a standstill, the city is working on the towering task of clearing its waterlogged roads and drying out flooded homes. Authorities continue the strenuous task of cleaning up the waterlogged residential infrastructure and removing debris from the roads. The slow process of removing water due to poor drainage is proving to be a major obstacle on the road to recovery. Water clogging, which is blocking roads, it's affected basic services, with supermarkets unable to restock and many employees struggling to reach their workplaces. Dubai International Airport is working to recover after record-shattering rain fell in the United Arab Emirates. The airport is the world's busiest for international travel. On Saturday, hundreds stood in lines at Terminal 3, home to the long-haul carrier Emirates, hoping to board flights. Even as public transportation resumed, traffic remained disrupted. Street closures, detours and partially submerged roads caused heavy congestion, with some cars driving towards oncoming traffic in an effort to avoid flooded areas. Heavy rain is extremely uncommon in the United Arab Emirates and other parts of the Arabian Peninsula, where the weather is usually arid and dry. Temperatures in the summer often rise above 50 degrees Celsius. Climate experts blame global warming and La Nina for such extreme weather events. That's World Earth Day today, and a group of environmentalists in Seoul have organized a fashion show to raise awareness. Members of Consumer Climate Action are walking on the runway wearing clothes made entirely out of plastic. It's an effort by them to urge the public to reduce the use of plastic. Take a look at our next report.
The issue of plastic is not just about reducing waste and recycling. We wanted to remind the public of the threats of plastic waste, because once plastic is produced, it doesn't disappear but remains as a threat to the environment and people in the form of microplastic. We are here to raise the issue of not just plastic but also microplastic and synthetic fiber.
합성 섬유에 이르기까지
And as we celebrate Earth Day, we turn our focus to the economics of sustainability. For years, eco-friendly products have been flying off the shelves. But what about sustainability itself? It's not just a trend, it's the key to our future. Take a look at our next report for more on this.
Sustainability. That's not a buzzword but a necessity for our future. Sustainability is key for businesses as demand for eco-friendly products keep rising. But how can businesses capitalize on this green revolution? Find green suppliers, check their sustainability practices and connect with them. Selling green products in simple language will help consumers understand their benefits better. Is going green expensive? Not necessarily. Sustainable practices can save money in the long run. Green tech might seem pricey up front, but it can lead to better energy use and less waste. Sustainable sourcing might cost more at first, but it attracts eco-conscious consumers and strengthens the brand. Following environmental regulations can be costly, but it helps reduce climate and supply chain risks. Consumers are demanding change. Businesses that embrace green practices open new doors and stay competitive. Being sustainable also means creating a fair work environment and taking care of the planet. It requires employee training, so investing in education and awareness is crucial for a greener future. Remember, sustainability isn't a choice, it's a necessity. By harmonizing environmental responsibility with financial stability, businesses can build a brighter future for all. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.